With my clients, I get the question, how do I get started in property management as far as servicing their apartment complexes? How do I scale my business commercially and not just rely upon residential clients? How do I take my business to the next level? Hi, this is Jeff Glass, owner, co-founder of Alpha Media Group, and today we're going to talk about how to get into the commercial and property management side for your business. I'm going to start with two stories today, and I have a background in construction, contracting, service businesses, and one of my very first companies was back in 2004. I purchased a window and gutter cleaning company. When I got this business, it was basically a stack of index cards with people's names on it, and not a whole lot beyond the cards. I called, some people had passed away, some had never heard of the business that I had purchased, and a few had heard of me. And during the calls, I came across one property management company. And like everyone else, I went and scaled my business residentially, or at least tried to, putting business cards, door hangers, flyers on residential doors, going around my neighborhood. I hired a helper and had him do the same. And then I thought, there's got to be a better way to do this. And I kept looking into property management companies and started calling and offering my services. I wasn't getting much traction, but I managed to get up to about 4 different property management companies. And I was down in San Joaquin Valley servicing a company, Section 8, HUD housing. I can't remember the exact name for it there. There's different names as I've moved across different states. And I was servicing an apartment complex, and I look around the apartment complex, and there's all these like dumpsters just pushed over, and I see a guy that's got, logo on a shirt, and he ends up getting in his truck and actually just screeches away. And I didn't have to be too bright to put 2 and 2 together that someone had just quit and left with a fit. So these heavy dumpsters, I called a guy down from the roof where he was working and cleaning out gutters, and there was another guy there and myself, and we started picking up all this trash in these dumpsters and put them all back, put the trash away, and I just went about my day, and we ended up finishing up our job, and we went home that evening. And what happened next was phenomenal. It changed my business. The lady who was managing the apartment complex that was there, small lady, and she wasn't going to come out, nothing towards ladies. My wife can do some heavy lifting and some great carpentry work, but she wasn't going to come out and lift these dumpsters all on her own. And I didn't even bother to ask for her help. I just went out there and got a few of us, and we just did it. Next thing I had heard, I got a call from her boss, who was my client, so considered in a way also my boss, and basically called to thank us and said, "Hey, I really like what you did the other day." One of my employees, she was distraught. She was really upset about what happened. And, maybe you can come bid on 88 properties for me. I thought to myself, oh my gosh, 88 properties. This is incredible. So that was a big exchange for my business that was going from one level to the next. And I wouldn't just be knocking on residential doors. It changed my business from there. Another thing that really changed my company right around the same time is I was listening to a CD. I like listening to educational material while I drive. Kind of been one of my addictions, ironically, since I've been out of school, out of college. And I was listening to a CD, and the guy was you ever hear those old inventions called CDs? I'm aging myself here, I think now, but listen to one of these CDs, and the guy was talking about, how he scaled his business and became a millionaire running a financial advisory firm. And it ended up opening up to a Q&A at the end, and the guy was heckling him at the end and basically kind of sandbagging him, says, "Okay, that sounds great, but how can I make $1 million? How can I make some money?" And giving him a bad time. And the guy, very calmly, cool, collected, said, "Well, there's this one thing that I do." He goes, "Every time I get a new client, I take a cake, I order a cake, and I send it to their office with all of my stuff on it, thanking them for their business." And he goes, "I got a client every single time." First thing I thought was like, man, this idea is just dumb. I don't know about sending a cake. And in the time I'm trying to break into the property management sector a little bit more as a service provider. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it. I'm just going to ready, aim, fire this, and I'm going to jump in, I'm going to try it. So what I did is I got cakes And so I thought I'd try this idea and decided I was going to order some cakes. And I went to a local bakery. I had ordered some stickers from my printer that I was doing work with at the time, and had stickers and business cards. And I didn't want to go around and deliver myself. I wasn't a very outspoken person at the time. Things have changed. I now speak in front of crowds, large crowds, small crowds. So back then I was much more, I guess, introverted, much more shy then. And so I hired someone to go pass out the cakes for me. And they went around and passed out the cakes to different property management companies. And the interesting thing about cake is this: for the most part, number one, no one eats cake alone, at least mostly, right? And the other one is they usually ask, well, what's the occasion? So now you have a cake with your name all over it in the break room at this office of a property management company, ABC Property Management Company, or whatever it's called. And they're sitting around enjoying your cake, happy, looking at your business cards, your trifolds, your rack cards, whatever you're leaving for them. And then usually the person in charge, what happens next was great, was the law of reciprocity. The person in charge would contact me and say, hey, I want to thank you for the cake. And then she would ask about my business. By the way, I'd like for you to go look at some properties. And the rest was history. Actually, no. The rest was a lot of work. We pretty much stopped doing most residential work and completely focused on apartment complexes. And wouldn't you know it, I got a client almost every single time. I got to bid on a property, I think, with every single cake, but I remember doing closed work with pretty much every single property that was there on our list. So we at least got in front of them. So we got a phone call, we got some sort of action from all of them. But my business, again, grew from 4 property management clients to 88 in less than 4 years. That may sound like a long time, but a lot of these property management companies had 50 to 60, some of them even 70 locations. So it was a long-term mindset for my business. I wanted to see how well I can grow over time, and grew a very successful company that was servicing 4 states at that time by the time I had moved, and passed the company along to 2 brothers that took it over. I was in a position where I could move to Nevada and basically start all over. And that's slowly after that, I got into the junk removal side. So if you want to grow your business, you can try the cakes. You can try doing something extra or go the extra mile for someone on their property. I highly advise learning to be creative, both online and offline. Alpha Media Group, we are your online source for digital marketing, for Google SEO, YouTube SEO, website design, and logos. But I tell my clients all the time, get creative offline as well. There's a lot of business to be made, old-fashioned way of making contacts, connections, shaking hands, meeting people, dropping off things, gifts. But try the cakes, and I hope they are successful for you as they were for us. Take care.